Good morning. It is morning for me. Might not be morning when you see this, but I'm still working on the poncho. It's coming along well. I think I've got maybe 4 rows before I'm ready to start the border on it. Oh, by the way, my name is Jane. If you're here for the first time, I just thought I would come on and we would chit-chat and paddywhack and whatever else is going on in the world today. My cold has gotten better. I'm now just down to sniffles and occasional cough. A little bit of head congestion, which that's not too bad considering what it was before. Before I couldn't even pay attention. I'd be up about 20 minutes and I'd be back down asleep for the next 3 or 4 hours. Then I'd get up and go to the bathroom, walk around, get another drink, and sit down and think, oh, I can do something productive. No. In about 20 minutes, I'd be back asleep for another couple of hours, so it's been a rough week. But man, this thing took its toll on me. And I would say it's just a severe head cold, but I'm not real sure. Couldn't get in to see the doctor. Of course, her advice was treat it like it is and test for COVID. And tested for COVID, and I'm not, it's not COVID. Can't get in to see a doctor, and I'm not going to go to the ER or urgent care because that's generally a big waste of money, unless I absolutely had to. But I didn't have any real breathing difficulties, so I didn't see the need to go. So I've just been treating it and drinking hot fluids and eating a lot of soup and some comfort foods and letting my body decide when it wanted to rest and not rest, which that's unusual for me anyway, to begin with. Normally I fight my body left and right. But yeah, I have to tell you, last night my cats were, I don't know what they were doing. They were out here just having a blast. You could hear them playing and running and romping and meowing. And which is kind of interesting because Ronan will meow a lot. Is he? I've really never heard her meow, but I heard her last night meow for the first time. I guess brother was getting the best of her. And he gets kind of jealous, She gets more playtime. She's getting more on that end than he doesn't like it. He wants more. He wants most of the attention. He thinks he's more deserving. So it's interesting to watch these two. And to hear them play like that. But they carried on for quite a bit, and I fell asleep anyway, because I was tired. And now they're up here this morning fighting over a plastic spring. That's what I call it. That's what it looks like. That's what they're playing with right now. Batting it around and chasing it all over the house. Ronan somewhere has lost his mouse, his little shaky mouse, so he's a little upset. I haven't looked in the boxes, to see if he's lost it in a box. And when I say boxes, I leave boxes out for these cats. Generally what I will do is I will put a box out, put things in the box, like paper, crumpled up paper, and some of their toys and things for them to play with to kind of keep their mind a little stimulated. And they play in those boxes anyway, so might as well let them. And there's like 2 boxes in the living room. It's no big deal. But, yeah. Well, I am going to let you know. I'm going to talk about something a little bit disturbing. But I think it needs to be said. You on the left are not right in the head. I'm sorry. The left is going around with this little code talk. Cute winter boots or cute white winter boots. Are you not thinking this through, folks? If you are actively helping the illegals get pew-pews so they can fight ICE agents, 1, do you not realize that these agents have had military training? 2, do you not realize somebody's going to get hurt? 3, do you not realize when they go to search out those pew-pews, they're going to come back to you because an illegal cannot legally buy a pew-pew in the U.S. Unless you guys are going to buy those in the underground, then I'm sure that those people will give you up when they're charged with terrorist charges. But seriously, what are you thinking? Do you really think that's going to help? I mean, after all, the illegals that they're going after right now are the ones that are the rapists, the murderers, those that have gun charges, thieves. They've done some serious crimes, not only in their own country, but in our country. So yeah, I don't think, I'll be honest, I don't think they have a place in America to begin with. They should have never been allowed to come. But that's beside the point. Do I think we need to have a better system for people to get to the U.S.? Yeah. But you have to realize there are consequences to your behavior. I mean, if you're speeding, you get caught speeding, you've broken the law. So you get a ticket, and you have to deal with that. If you come into this country illegally, you've broken the law. So yeah, you may get sent back home. There's a difference between refugee status and illegal status. Doesn't mean I don't have compassion for you. But I also don't think that we should be paying your way, if you come here illegally. And I was listening to some of the questioning on in the Senate. I think it was Senate. Maybe it was the House. One of the congressmen said, what are you gonna tell the farmers and the ranchers, when ICE shows up, take away all their workers? Well, folks, ranchers and farmers that hire illegals have broken the law. So yeah, I would expect that there will be some consequences from that. I don't think a lot of people understand when you are a migrant worker, you're given a green card to work in the U.S. And when you are working on someone's farm or ranch, believe it or not, that person is responsible for your housing, your medical cost, and also for feeding you. So, as well as paying you. And on top of that, they're not allowed to let you work over 40 hours a week. So, know what you're fighting for, first of all. Understand completely. And, we've seen a lot of listeria and all kinds of things come about in our food from food processing plants, everything else. Does that happen if all the workers are non-illegals? Yeah. Does it happen with illegals? Yes. Are there consequences to it? Yeah, people get sick. Although I don't know if you can die from listeria. I would imagine you could from the side effects of it. But yeah, there are consequences to everything that we do. And I've had a lot of people give me grief about who I voted for. And I stand by who I voted for. There are many reasons I voted for him. Did I think he was the best choice? No. Did I think he was the better choice of most of those candidates that were out there? Yes. They took out the choice that I wanted. The Democrats did. So that left me with one of two choices, basically. Now, my big concern for the border has not only been those that come here that have all kinds of detestable backgrounds, that we freely let into our country. I think we should be able to choose, if you're a gun runner in Guatemala or a murderer, I don't think that you should be able to come here to the U.S. without proof that you're going to change your life. Do I believe in change? Yeah, I do believe people can change, but I believe you can do it in your own country and do things to make your own country a better place. Now, my biggest concern for the border is not only the drug trafficking, but the human trafficking that's going on. And for me, the biggest thing was, Harris had always come across as, I was right there with all the big decisions. I was right there in the room, made all those decisions. My biggest thing was with the Biden administration is they stopped doing the background checks on the unaccompanied minors. Now, even under Trump, when they were doing those, they found 60 to 70% of those children that were unaccompanied by adults that had an address and a name to where they were to be sent to weren't even related to those people. Do I think that those children might have been being sold into sex trafficking? Possibly. I mean, unfortunately, the U.S. is the biggest buyer of human trafficking. So yeah, I have those concerns. And I also think that we have a problem coming in, with the shipping crates. You hear the longshoremen always talking about, they hear the screams and the cries in those containers. They know that there are humans being brought in that way. So why aren't they opening those? And what are those screams about? Could you imagine being in a shipping container for months on end? Weeks on end? People dying right in front of you? Not only that, but bodily functions. Yeah. It's kind of scary when you think about it. That's one of the main reasons. Second main reason is, with this Biden administration, they have more than doubled the national debt in 4 years. That's astronomical, people. There's a problem. We can't keep spending like this. We need to figure out what's going on. And then you have Pentagon that's got billions of dollars missing. Every department has billions of dollars missing. Well, let's find out where that's at. What's going on? Is it being siphoned off somewhere else? I don't know. I have a few questions. Questions like, why did generals from Ukraine have mansions in Los Angeles? They're in the fire. Why? How many generals in the U.S. do you know that have mansions in more than one country? There are some valid questions. I think they're pretty valid. So those are some of the main reasons I finally did settle on this guy. And yeah, it took me a while. So I don't know. And I think as someone who's been a businessman, a contractor, he has a better idea of how to get things done rather than sitting around on our haunches. He does know that, sorry, had changed the battery. So yeah, I do think that sometimes as Americans we need to reprioritize what we're looking at and reassess what we're doing. Do I feel bad that he withdrew from the WHO? Not a bit. I mean, most people don't follow along to see what they're doing. They don't follow along, what NATO is doing, all kinds of things like that. And if you did, you might be pretty shocked. The World Health Organization was really wanting to take control over everything in our lives. And regardless of what country you live in, they wanted to be able to say what the next epidemic was and who's supposed to react to it and take care of things. They wanted to decide how you can go about your business every day, lives, those kind of things. I mean, come on, folks. They had declared that monkeypox was the next epidemic. And it wasn't. So, and I've heard doctors say, well, we won't be on the first headlines of we won't be in on the new studies and all this other nonsense. That is just pure nonsense, people. Just because you have withdrawn from the World Health Organization doesn't mean you're not part of those things and get to see what's going on. It just amazes me, the stupidity of people when they don't bother to look into it to see what's going on. Yeah, crazy. They really do have this agenda to become this one world nation, to where they dictate to us what we can and can't do and how we can spend our money and everything else. And I'm not interested in that. And this whole climate accord thing, it's all about money. It truly is all about money. Is it about saving the planet? No. They do some good things, but other things destroy the planet that they're doing. So this is a pretty ingenious ecosystem that the world has that God has created for us anyway. So sometimes we just need to let it work its magic on its own. So, okay, political rant over. Sorry about that, folks. Oh. So, do you take time to prioritize the works that you're doing? You know, the different projects you're doing? Do you look at one work, let's say you pull a whip out and you say, I don't know why I even started this, and just rip it out? Or do you just say, oh, well, okay, I'll finish it? You know, those are things we do every day of our life. Sometimes we look at our budget and say, well, I overspent here, so I need to tighten the budget a little bit on this side. Yeah, it happens, doesn't it? Happens to each and every one of us. So I've been working a little bit with some of the squares, getting some of those willow squares made for the garment. Still haven't worked with that striped yarn, that neon striped yarn. I think I'm going to try a loaf cat first. But I'm not sure how the eyes will go. I do have a variety of eyes, different colors, so it might be okay. And yeah, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to use safety eyes. I'm not going to embroider eyes. I'm horrible at embroidery. Probably do need to watch some videos on how to do it. Just haven't. And I'm one of those people, I am a hands-on and visual learner. So, I think most of us are visual learners. I mean, I'm sure there are some brilliant people that could, read the manual and figure it out from there. But, should be interesting. And when I'd gone over to get this the third skein for this poncho, because I'm getting down to the tail end of this second skein, I was like, oh, there's that shirt I've been working on for 2.5 years, haven't got it finished yet. I'm wondering if by the time I get it finished, it'll be way too big anyway. But do need to finish it. So maybe that'll be my next project of choice to work on after this poncho. I don't know, could be. So do you guys have any easy patterns that you've used for amigurumi? Do you have any designers that you think are the best? Now, I love Sharon O'Hala's patterns. I mean, they're excellent patterns. So maybe I'll look to see what she has. Of course, hers are usually pretty intricate. You know, all those dragons. And I do love a good dragon. But is anyone specific that you follow? Do you always use blanket yarn with some of these amigurumi? I mean, a lot of the newer channels that I've been shouting out have been using plush yarn, the blanket yarn, for a lot of those things. And that is not something that I really had looked at to make some of these plushies. Maybe I should. I don't know. I hadn't really thought about that. Like I said, I have textile issues with the blanket yarn. I could probably work with it for a little while. I had someone who had asked me to make it was an Afghan that could be used, baby Afghan that could be used also as a playmat. And it was very thick, and she also wanted a baby hoodie made out of it with that baby cloud yarn. And I had trouble working with it because I didn't like the feel of it. It wasn't that hard to work with, although it was like hellspun. You can't see your stitches. But I did manage to get both items made for her, and she absolutely adored them. And her son and grandson, well, I assume her grandson adored them. I'm not sure he had a choice because he was put in it a lot. Do we give babies choices on whether or not they love what we give them? The other thing that I was looking at was, some of these loveys that are flat loveys, to make those for the Operation Christmas Child. I was looking at some of those different patterns to do those. But I think if I were doing a lovey, because it would be a 2 to 4 year old, I would most likely do the felt eyes or have to learn to embroider the eyes. Jeez. Rather than safety eyes. Just because. I thought those might be cute additions to a Operation Christmas Child box. As well as simple hats. We always overlook those things. I just was reminded of the woman that came and was telling us about her trip to Kenya with the missions for Operation Christmas Child, handout boxes. And as she put it, she was over there sweating. It was like 82 degrees or something like that. And there were people that were in the building that were wearing winter coats and hats because it was cold to them. So, I guess temperature is relative, depending on where you grew up and that kind of thing. I know that was one of the biggest things that many of the staffers had an issue with Obama, because he had the White House so hot, that they were struggling dealing with the heat. And, it happens. And a lot of that was where he was raised and, that kind of thing. So, we're used to those kind of things. And our body gets adjusted. So, when there's a big difference in temperature, like I'm sure, difference of 20 to 30, 40 degrees in a very hot, humid, arid desert is probably chilly to those folks, whereas it wouldn't be to us. So yeah, starting on the third skein. So I'm going to pull out some yarn to start with. Get it moving a little bit easier. Of course, this is going to be kind of like a yarn barf. It just seems about normal. That's another question I have. Are you guys, I love center pull. And I know there are certain people that don't mind working from the outside. But I think working from the outside changes the C formation of the yarn. I might be wrong, but I think it does change that a little bit. Who knows? So do you work from the outside or do you work from center pull? And yeah, I will work through that yarn barf. Doesn't matter. I'm going to work through it until it gets to where I can be comfortable with the work that I'm using. And I will sit and I will untangle it. I don't know if you want to call that patience or stubbornness or whatever. Although I don't really care about a lot of mangled messes. I don't mind fighting with it if it's worth the fight. And sometimes it's worth the fight for me. Do you prefer cakes to skeins? I think I have gotten to a point where I like the cakes better than a skein, although I don't mind working from a skein. I just think the cakes work a little bit easier. They're a little more compact, easier to tote around with you. Whether you're a knitter or a crocheter, either one. So yeah. Now, I will tell you, last night I was sitting here thinking about all those, because I have a couple of totes that have just fancy yarns in them. And I know that I have excluded those from the my tote series. But maybe I should include them in a different way. So I'm thinking about that. See, that's the thing about this tote series. I can make these rules up as I go. The whole thing is just to get into them, work through your stash. Like I said, I have way too much yarn, and I actually do need to just start working through it and get it in and out of this house. Like I said, husband and I were pretty lucky with some of the yarn scores that I was able to get. So it's time to put them into action. Put them out there into the universe to do some good. Warm some people up. Make some hearts bright. Make them a little happy with a gift. That kind of thing. So it's kind of what I'm aiming for in this. I hope you guys have been watching some of these videos, some of the different areas that have been dealing with the snow and the ice. Some of these guys are just, some of their ingenuity is just amazing. One gal that I follow on TikTok, and I cannot think of her name at the moment. But she always does this southern thing. She always has the crayon sticking out of her mouth like a cigarette. And she put it there in Alabama. They might not have fancy sleds, but they've got boats. And then she did this video of showing them in the boat, going along the snow trails and all that kind of stuff. Kind of, I guess, boat sledding, if you will. And then, of course, the Cajun fellows with their airboats, using the airboats in the snow. That's kind of interesting to see. Somehow I didn't think that would work, but it does. So, but it's interesting to see because it also blows the snow. So, who knows? It's kind of fun. Then those folks in New Orleans, that are out on the street having fun in the snow. These are once in a lifetime things for these people. So I think it's kind of fun to see their reactions to those to the snow and that kind of thing. I think I had watched a video, yesterday, of the zoo animals in Houston reacting to the snow. The elephants running and playing in it, the capybaras, all the different animals, playing and having fun in the snow, testing it out, that kind of thing. So that's interesting to see. It's kind of neat. And yeah, eventually you guys' weather will be back to normal. But I would imagine it's hard, for areas that aren't used to that. And yeah, I still am curious. Those of you in Florida, are you still having school? I mean, school buses still able to run since they're not used to snow and ice? Just curious. And has it started melting? That's another thing I'm curious about. This polar vortex, never been real thrilled with the polar vortexes when they show up. Just because they make my bones hurt. I'm getting old, Dave. Nobody likes that. Oh. Let's see. Maybe one more row. Need to double check on this once I get one more row done. Need to see where I'm at on it. When you do your ponchos, do you like them to go past your elbow? That's generally what I use as a marker when I'm making ponchos. Like I said, this one's a little differently. Seen a lot of ponchos that actually flare out a little bit sooner than what this one does. But it's an interesting piece of work. And I will tell you, I have a lot of hours in it. I think I've got, so far, 12 hours into this thing. And we're not even close to being finished. Now, could you imagine, even if it only took me 10 hours, 12 hours of work, charging minimum wage? I mean, that would be like what? 72 something, 72.50. Just in minimum wage, just for that, not including the cost of the yarn. And as you know, most people tell you not to pay yourself minimum wage. You should pay yourself a little higher than minimum wage. So if you were looking at a range of you wanted $15 an hour, you think a lot of people would pay $150 for a poncho? I don't know, maybe out of Fifth Saxon Avenue. Nordstrom's. I don't know. We'll see how it goes, right? Did want to tell you I put the alien tape on the door. It is working well. It is helping with the draft that comes through that front door. So I am pleased with that. And apparently it works a lot like the command strips if you want to remove it, although it's reusable. If you want to remove it, you basically pull it up like you do the command strips. Slowly pull it off, then you wipe it clean, then you're supposedly supposed to be able to use it again. I don't know if that's true or not. Haven't tried it, not going to. I like what it's doing right now. So, and I don't see me changing it. Just don't. That's me. And I find it interesting. I've seen some folks say that they can't get the Lemonade app or the TikTok app added now. I don't know if you've seen lately where I've seen a lot of people who on their cell phone, because they didn't delete the TikTok app, they're selling their phones to those who want to continue with the TikTok app. Now, I didn't delete the app off my phone. I just left it because I knew there were some questions. Did I figure eventually it would come back? Wasn't sure. Was hoping it would. I'm not sure why Lemonade was eliminated, although it is more owned by Chinese, I think. Have to do a little more investigation on that. I don't think it has as many world investors or U.S. investors in it. And it's like TikTok, sort of. It's kind of fun. You know, it's a great way to waste time. It's basically what all these apps do. I am on Flip as well. And Flip is a little interesting. You earn these credits on it to go shopping and give you a discount. You can't review an item or post a video until you've purchased an item. So I'm not real sure about that, but it's interesting. And I heard about a different app too called Scoops. Haven't checked it out yet. Just curious. It's interesting, all the different social media that's out there. You know? I know a lot of folks that are on TikTok are complaining the algorithm is not the same. It probably isn't. that it seems a little bit more like the TikTok algorithm, which if you don't realize, they will push things that they see you're interested in. If they see that you are more right-leaning, then they will suggest or let you see posts that are more right-leaning than left-leaning. I'm the type of person, I like to look at all of it. Like to see the nonsense on both sides. So, that's just me. But I just find it interesting. Who knows whether, there's this rumor that Meta purchased TikTok. And I guess we'll know in the end someday eventually whether that's true or not. But in the meantime, people are happy that it's back. And there are some that are not. And like I said, I don't understand how they get that it's a national security risk. I think they need to explain that a little bit better. I think our own government is a national security risk, to be honest. But then again, I also think Facebook is a national security risk, but what do I know? Right? But it gets crazy. Crazier and crazier, all these conspiracy theories. I think it'll be interesting if they actually do release the documentation on the battery died. Actually, the battery didn't die, we just ran out of time. This camera stops automatically at like 29.56 minutes, something like that. So anyway, I don't know why it would be a security risk, why the CIA, the three-letter places in our government think it's security risk. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Maybe it's a risk because it's been determined that, those conspiracy theories are right. Who knows? Right? Guess we'll see in the long run. And I don't know how it would be a security risk now. Like JFK. What was that, 1962? I mean, that's like 43 years later. Why is that a big thing? So I don't know. I know Billy hasn't been around a while, and I'm really, really missing Billy. I know she'd put out on her Facebook whether people really wanted her to, she should continue filming, doing YouTube. I hope she does. I enjoyed listening to her. I enjoy watching and seeing what she's doing. I enjoy listening to her even if she isn't doing anything. Billy, come back to us. Please. Maybe I should see if YouTube has unsubscribed me. And I don't know why YouTube does that. Do they give us a limit on how many people we can be subscribed to, and then If we go over the limit, do they like start taking away? And I feel sorry for people that look to see who I'm subscribed to. I don't think you can do that anymore. It used to be you could. You could see who each channel was subscribed to. And because I'm subscribed to thousands, probably 10,000 or more. But I like a lot of variety in my viewing, so, I'll jump from one thing to another. There are times when I will sit and I will watch thrifting videos. There are times I will watch Dollar Tree hauls. There are times that I will watch shabby chic making of things and card making and diamond painting and you name it. I don't always share all those. Maybe I should share more of those. What do you guys think? Should I? As well as knitting and crochet. Those are still my favorites. Dumpster diving. I absolutely love dumpster diving. I know when I was younger I used to dumpster dive. Wasn't too bad. Found quite a few treasures in there. Found a lot of things that I thought, why are they throwing these out? I mean, we are a wasteful nation. Why are they throwing out food that could be donated? I mean, there are food pantries all over that would take a lot of that food. But, some of the dumpster divers that I watch, they're finding all kinds of things like diapers, adult diapers. Now, those do not expire. Now, I don't know if you could ever do a recall, what you would recall on diapers. I don't know what could be found in it. I mean, I'm sure there's something. But why throw out all that stuff? Just bamboozles me, I guess. So, yeah, I do like that, do enjoy that, and I do like thrifting. Do like watching the resellers, to see what they find. Do I ever find anything like that when I go to Goodwill or the thrift stores? I doubt it. Haven't yet. Doesn't mean I don't want to find. Doesn't mean I won't keep looking. It's kind of like this. With my coffee pot with the craft breaking, I thought maybe I should go to the thrift store. I was thinking about getting a coffee pot. My coffee pot works fine. It's the carafe I need. So maybe I just need to go looking for a carafe. So anyway, there are treasures here and there for each and every one of us. I enjoy those people that buy the different lock storage units and, go through them and let you know what's in them. And a lot of those people make a lot of money with those selling those things out of them, reselling. Like I said, we waste a lot of things here in the U.S. It's kind of sad to see that we do that, so. Wonder where the cat was. I don't see him anywhere around. Izzy's already gone back to bed. She's gone back to bed in my bed right up against my pillow. It's her favorite spot every day. they'll be out playing in a little bit, so then I'll get them going with the laser. Have a little bit of fun with that. Yeah. Guess that's all the craziness that's going on around here. I'm going to let you go for now. So I'll see you guys again soon. In the meantime, everybody have a great weekend. Stay warm. Have fun. Enjoy life. And we'll get back to it pretty soon. Bye.